At the top of the leaderboard, we find another Lake Nona resident, Lydia Ko. Judy doing what we've seen her do so many times over the last several years.
Boy, she has just been dialed in since yesterday.
For a 69. Nelly Korda playing with her. This for birdie at 16. Nelly birdied her first 2 holes of the day for a second straight day. Nelly would go out and shoot 68 after finishing third.
Out this tournament, and she just looks so good doing it. Her golf swing looks good. She's gained a little bit of distance in the last months and making some putts.
In her first round since 2008, went out and shot 3 over par 75. 10 pars, Judy Rankin, to start round 2, and then a birdie at the 11th hole, the second.
And just terribly consistent.
She was thrilled with the experience yesterday. Her husband and caddy, Mike McGee, said, now we got to go out and try to sneak in and make the cut. Well, that birdie at the 3rd was huge. 4, and then at the 7th, right on the cut line at 2 over. Maybe. Oh, yes! Annika back to 1 over. Well, she would bogey the 8th, but par the 9th to finish at 2 over. And when she finished that round of 71, she and her son Will spoke to our Karen Stubbles.
Stam Nordquist and the defending champion Madeline Sagström, and this was her final hole, and look what she did to finish the day. An eagle there to go along with birdies at 7 and 8, and that put her in the clubhouse. Had a great start to the round yesterday. 3 straight birdies to open the tournament. As you can see, she's fallen back a little bit since then. Let's check in with the world number 1, Jin Young Ko, who has Karen Stupples out watching her.
Well, and something we're used to saying, Tom. Good look at birdie for Jin Young.
Movement in general, Karen, from front right to back left on this green.
There is, and typically it moves more than you think too, as so many of these putts do, and can be quite confusing to the players.
So 1 over for the day, 1 over for the tournament. Was round in 72 yesterday. And that is a mistake, the par 5 for the 2018 AIG Women's Open champion. A couple of weeks off after these 2 Florida events for the LPGA, and Georgia's going to stick around in the US and practice. Let's go to the 17th, flag towards the back of the green today. Megan Kang knocking it in. Megan's just bought a new house about a week ago and has been working on furnishing it. She was asked yesterday, how well have you done? And she said, well, I have a rug.
Had that 7-year victory streak end last year, and it's a shame because you really shouldn't count it. There were only half the events played, roughly 18 out of 33.
Any competition at Troon,
yeah,
it's got to count for a lot.
Member guest count?
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
She would have been 6th on the money list had her. I've seen her do that a lot in the last 8 months. The victory and a nice relationship with AIG. Here's Ashley Buhai, lost a playoff to Georgia Hall in Portland last fall and had a terrific year in that shortened season.
Yeah, player from South Africa, and she just keeps playing a little bit better and a little bit better. I think her game has really come along in the last 12 months.
And from the first cut, Jin Young Ko.
She's got 146. That was a 7-iron. It was off of an upslope. This one going right at it.
She did take on that pin, and she'll have a great chance for birdie. Young Ko to get to 4 under.
And this one's going to move just a hair left.
She makes it look so effortless, Judy, doesn't she?
She makes so few mistakes.
Gabby was actually born in the Orlando area, but moved away at the age of 1, so obviously doesn't have any memories, but now has come back to spend some time with her brother, Ryan, who is based here in the Windermere area of Orlando. This for par.
She went 114 holes in a row without a bogey.
That's right.
A couple of years
That's
ago.
right.
9.
Asahata-Oka's dropped shots on the last 2 holes, but can get them both back here with an eagle putt at the 9th. Yeah, good bounce back there. 22-year-old from Ibaraki, Japan. Build a good year.
Stacy for birdie at 8.
Aggressive looking stroke. Good soft hands there, as always with Stacey, but again, thinking the putt was going to move back to the right.
Yeah, I've never seen a player who so consistently questions her reads.
She was one of those bedeviled a bit by the speed of the greens. Here is Georgia Hall, and she's got one of her icons from England, Laura Davies, stepping in to get a look at the 10th.
Hey, hold on.
And Laura liked what she saw, and so did Georgia.
Yeah, that is always a bonus.
I think these greens are quite tricky, Judy, just to read. Got to be really sort of focused on being committed to your line.
Here's Brittany Lincecum, who played against Laura Davies in numerous Solheim Cups, and it tells you about Laura's longevity. There are some similarities, aren't there, Judy, between the two, Lincecum and Davies?
Yeah, I think they both have unique golf swings. They come out to the tour, both men and women today, ready.
13.
Sarah Kemp, a tee shot at the 13th. Nice. The flag today in a lot more of a friendly position on the front of this green. Yeah, good birdie. Ashley Buhai, 3rd at the 11th. The flag today on the left half of this green. It was on the right half yesterday. You've got to come over the trees if you knock it too far down the left with your layup, but that's going to leave Ashley a good chance to make a birdie. Ashley Buhai for birdie at the 11th to get it to 5 under par. This is a player that we've talked about coming close to winning, but has not yet got it done.
Had a good year last year and often was pushing a cart around. Can't do that this year. Oh, yes. Had it all along.
A par is a par is a par.
This is not an easy one. The green slopes toward her all the way till about 6 feet short of the hole, then levels out and slopes away. She played it nicely. Temptation there is to play it with a straight face club, but you just don't have enough club head speed to guarantee any kind of clean contact doing that.
Yeah, good outward 9. Birdie at 1, birdie at 9. And it gets her to 4 under, 6 behind. Little wave to the crowd. Gets her back to level par for the day.
Reports are she's been hitting it great now for 27 holes. Not able to make as many as she would like, but she hits so many greens and has so many 15, 20 footers that you never really know.
Gonda at 10th, 2 over, is looking better. As Tom mentioned earlier, looking better to make the cut. For a moment, it was down to a tie for 67th, the 2 overs.
Going to try and move a little bit to the left. Uphill.
Yeah.
Yes.
There were a number of very big name players living in the Orlando area at the time. Lincecum for birdie at 11. She can't believe that she's left that so far short.
Fair to say she might not have hit that solid.
Yeah, it's back down the hill. Jin Young for birdie. Fairly quick.
Yeah, maybe to the right a bit.
It's the Tavistock Cup in its original format was Nona versus Isleworth, and the residents taking on each other in a sort of club versus club.
Just think back to, oh, brutal. Just being the wrong side of the hole. Just that downhill, slippery.
It's going to feel like a bogey.
No doubt.
Did you hear her under her breath? I wonder why I can't read these greens.
Third shot at the 10th for Sophia Popov.
Drove it in trouble right and then nearly hit it in deep trouble left, but got a great kick off the trees to end up there. And that was a difficult shot made to look easy.
That is a touch.
Well, I talked to Anna Nordquist after the round today, and she said she had never played with Annika before, ever, until Monday at practice round here. And she just couldn't express in words how cool it was to be able to play alongside her childhood idol.
Looks good.
Looks
It
really
was
good.
on the perfect line.
Oh, wow. Two birdies, the rest pars for Lexi through 10 now.
Tibabuya.
Tibabuya.
I can't remember that from one day to the next.
Here's Danielle. See if she remembers how to make a par. Booyah. Yes. Par for Danielle. Annika was what, 13 under after 14 or 12 under after 13, something crazy like
Well,
birdied her first 8.
As we watch Ashley, Annika's was particularly interesting because there were no eagles.
Right.
It was all pars and birdies.
And a par 72. So 13 birdies, yeah.
This would be for her 5th birdie of the day. Yes, well done. So knocking on the door for potentially the low round of the week. Had that 65 yesterday from Lydia Ko. Now Lindsay Weaver for birdie. A player like Annika who has carded a 59. She shot 59 as an 18-year-old in a junior inter-club match at Desert Mountain.
Arizona, yeah,
in Arizona.
Just like Annika.
Lake Nona and I are with sort of sister clubs because they're owned by the same company. Involved in the Tavistock Cup years ago, as we said, and that is a costly bogey. So assuming this one goes in for bogey for Gabby.
You know, Tom, you could do a one-year diary of the places I've played.
And 7 back to 12. Georgia Hall for birdie. So Laura Davies, the winningest point getter in Solheim Cup history. How about Georgia Hall? What she did at Glen Eagles a couple of years ago. She and Celine Boutier, dynamic duo, helping lead Europe to a most memorable.
And I think all these players were aware that really going past this flag is pretty difficult.
She scared it last couple of holes, but this constitutes as an off day for Jin Young Ko. 1 over, a bogey, and now 9 pars. How about this one, Judy? Possible captain, Brittany Lincecum?
Oh, I think so down the road. I think there's a pretty good lineup of players coming up.
Carlota Segunda for a birdie here at the par 5 to get it back to 1 over. So she moves off the cut line. It's tough to predict where the cut is going to fall, but I think it's going to be 2 over come the end of the day. Good tee shot and a chance for a 2 there for Georgia. Georgia Hall for a birdie here at 13.
Well, didn't we talk about that, Tom, at Champions? When players were at the U.S. Women's Open, players were wearing earmuffs, and that was...
And also, a lot of players practice now. When you go down to the practice range, you see them baboon, surely.
Hey,
You are really aging me now, aren't
on
you?
a day like today. A little love letter in the sand. Here's Ashley Buhai at the 14th. But she is on full attack.
Shot.
Well, Ashley Buhai hit the stick with a second at 14. Tanya Patterson on the bag. Let's see if Lindsay Weaver can maybe roll in a long one for bogey. She was injured for most of 2018, but went back to Q school at the end of 2019. Had a nice year last year, a couple of top 10 finishes.
Danielle, very good spirits out here today. Quite chatty, which is pleasant. She's always chatty with her caddy and usually herself, but seems to be at a very good place right now.
It's good to hear. Had a great season last year. Popoff trying to make a par.
Yeah, to make it 2 great scrambling pars in a row.
Yeah, she saved it there. Back over to the 11th. Alexi bogey free today. Had 4 drop shots yesterday. Doesn't want to drop one here, so that's a par. A little frustrated. Has come close on a number of occasions.
129's the number. Just likely a pitching wedge. No signal. Could be her stronger of the 2 gap wedges. Yeah, that was a little pitching wedge. Keeping it just left of the hole.
It's a good shot.
Dances around the 10-foot mark. At the 12th, Thompson for birdie.
Great look here. Very flat as well.
Seven straight years with at least 1 victory for Lexi. That ended last year in the shortened season.
Was the second?
To 12, Danielle Kang.
9-iron headed just left of it. 136 was the distance.
Got it.
Good shot.
Good shot.
For birdie here.
Really slippery putt, Tom, down the hill. Tee shot went in the rough, couldn't go for the green in 2.
She hit it. Yes. First birdie of the day.
She's been as good as anybody we've been watching at giving herself really good birdie opportunities. Okay.
2020 was a tough year for Ashley, not being able to go back to South Africa and staying with her brother-in-law in Chicago area, and going down to the West Palm Beach area where some of the South African players on the men's tour are helping out, a place to practice.
Really struggled to read this putt because it looks just dead flat to me. So she's trying to see what might be in there.
The ball's in there.
Jerry, I agree with everything you said, and I sometimes wonder now that I watch her play so often how she slipped through the cracks before.
13.
Sahata Oka for birdie. She came very close to winning the Gainbridge LPGA last year. Missed a short putt on the final hole, which would have forced a playoff with Madeline Sagstrom. Of course, it was not played at Lake Nona 12 months ago.
Patty Tavatanakit, superstar at UCLA, won 7 times in 2 years. Native of Thailand. That for eagle. She'll settle for a 3rd straight birdie. It's her 11th hole of the day. Patty is 4 under.
With Sophia Popov.
9-iron, club of choice here. Pretty accessible hole location today with a 9-iron from 137. Good shot.
Hole location makes such a difference on this green. Yesterday it was really tricky. Just a short shot here for Lexi.
Indeed, pitching wedge for Lexi. Little breeze out of the right. That took off dead at it. Wind has it a little left.
That'll do.
Just got to marry that line and speed perfectly. And not ginger. There you go.
Okay. talked about it earlier. Easy to get a bit frustrated when you're hitting it so good tee to green and not making as many birdies as you would hope. Patty Tavatanakit with her second. Staying in the Orlando area, she's a member over at Isleworth. And recently moved to this part of the world. Good roll. Yes. Good putt. Works with Grant Waite. I remember that name from years past over at Isleworth.
I think the greens require that kind of putt. That was perfect speed.
Yeah.
It seems like the charging putts are not the putts that are successful here, even from 4 feet.
Jessica has given a bunch of birdie attempts good looks. You see the eagle at the second.
Perfect read.
Yeah, it was in all the way. Had a great look at it. So it's her 4th birdie of the day.
Young Ko, 68, 4 under par round 1. This for par at the 12th.
There's still some birdie holes to come. I think this is important to, there you go, just to kind of keep things ticking along with those birdie opportunities approaching.
Wasn't Grant Waite? Did he beat Grant Waite? Maybe. Maybe not. To 13.
Jessica KORDA.
That's a 9-iron on the way, Tom. Good looking high shot.
Yeah, we've seen them peppering it close to the flag today. So different than yesterday when it was tough. Really good look here for KORDA.
It is, but it will make you nervous because it's going to move to the left.
Yeah, just snuck in.
Birdie putt for Ashley Buhai has been dynamite today. 5 under on a round. Yeah, so many players you talk like Mickey Wright. When you talked about in her era, she wowed you with her ball striking. What Annika did and what I think Jin Young does is they wow you with the consistency.
But reading the greens, I think she's just struggled a bit today, Tom.
Yeah, she didn't read that one particularly well.
No.
On that line, she needed to give it a good firm go.
Well, when you see a player that's tentative like that, it shows that they're not really committed to the line. They're worried about it going too far past and not reading the next one. I think she's just struggling with these reads.
The LPGA to play the last 4 events. Let's go to 14.
And a hole, Jerry, that we understand could be moved up to be made drivable at some point.
Yeah, Lexi at 3-wood today from 66 yards there. You expect to make birdie from this distance, but yeah, she could have gotten it somewhere near the, I don't know, 10 yards short on that front apron, but why when you can do that?
And why wouldn't you pick Annika's brain if you could? Lexi for birdie. Back-to-back birdies for Lexi.
About 20 yards from left to right on the green there, where the hole's cut today. No issue whatsoever for Ashley Buhai. She's going straight at it, almost to the flat part of the green, which is at the back.
That's what I have to say on that subject.
I was
Amazing.
like, name that tune. How I can win that money title in 4 starts.
Birdie putt for Buhai is another one that goes missing, and she's frustrated. As Judy was saying, there's so many chances. I wonder when the last time they cut checks for a tournament was. It's all direct deposit these days. It's got to be a long time since they actually gave out physical checks.
Lots of great tournaments, lots of good new tournaments on the schedule.
Pop off for par, that'll sting a bit.
Yeah, that'll definitely sting from 66 yards, especially when she's been getting it up and down so well every time she's missed a green.
First bogey of the day after making 3 birdies. When you think about the math there, I mean, she essentially birdied every 3rd hole, and yet Danielle said there were some things that she actually left on the golf course that week. Okay. Still 4 under on a round today.
It's off a slight upslope. Struck pretty purely there.
Should spin a little, yes. Looking for another birdie. Well, yes, because she needed to have that high finish, having only played 2 previous events. Jessica walks it in, back-to-back in 3 of her last 4.
Gabby Ruffles has this for birdie, making her pro debut on the LPGA Tour this week. Did play the Cactus Tour, mini tour event last week, made $700. Good way to start the career. Finished 8th there.
Jen Young for birdie.
This one back up the hill, and from back in the fairway, it looked like it was so much closer to the hole than where it finished up.
Someone's going to pay for this run of pars.
Yeah, I don't think she's actually starting the ball on line. And I don't know that that is necessarily a bad read. It might just be something in the stroke.
Go over to the 5th, which is the short par 4, Patty Tavatanakit. Now, this hole, 314 yards. Earlier today, Anne Van Dam drove it flag high. 314, and you've got to fly it almost all the way to the green. So it's 2 short par 4s, one on the front 9, one on the back 9. You've got the 5th and the 14th, and they can both be drivable. Oh, that was a good look there for Patty. This was the hole that the Arnica Gate saga.
Yes, Arnica Gate
happened over there.
Good iron play.
Yes.
Wow.
Of wiggle room there. It would only take a few players to make some birdies and the cut would go to 1, but I think it's going to stay at 2. Let's go to 18.
And view high, a 67.
And we will be keeping a close eye on it as we head towards the Solheim Cup. Pop off now for birdie at 15.
Got to think she'll be there, don't you?
You would think so, yeah. It's a very different qualification system for the European. Jessica KORDA's 3rd, so she was not in the penalty area off the tee.
No, she was in the bunker, but still decided to lay up. She could have got to the green had she been on the fairway, I would suggest.
That's really good there.
Still going to have a great opportunity from there, right?
Bit of breeze kicking up there, but it's quite
is.
exposed. Well, she can make a nice move with a good performance here. This for birdie. No, just straight left there. We've seen quite a few putts missed this week, but we've talked about it already, the fact that the greens are subtle and they're not easy to read.
On to the weekend.
Jin Young Ko.
That's from 69, and Tom, this wind really is whipping across this green.
Yeah, it's the strongest it's been so far today. Carlota Segunda. See 13 of 16 greens today. She finished 3rd on tour last year in greens in regulation. Caddy says be good, and it is pretty good. It might go in. Very well done. Should just be a tap in here for Carlota Segunda at the 17th. That'll get her back to even par for the week.
Back at the 6th, par putt for Patty Tavatanakit. So a bogey at the par 3 4th, a par save at the par 3 6th, and that's the scorecard. Tied for 5th, 6 under. Burst onto the scene in the LPGA from Korea, winning the 2015 U.S. Women's Open in Pennsylvania. She's become quite close with the members of the club there, Lancaster Country Club. O'Toole looking for her first win. Young Patty Tavatanakit.
Angela Stanford on the cut line, but not for long. Gets to 1 over. Saw Angela earlier this week. She was just out walking with a wedge and a putter on Tuesday because her back was giving her a lot of trouble.
Number 5 in the world rankings has bogeyed 3 straight.
Give you a little anxiety, perhaps. Good stroke.
So Lexi's at 5 under, 5 off the lead. Up off here for par.
Match play might be conceded the way she putts.
We may see her in match play at Inverness.
Slightly right of it. Give herself another opportunity there. Swallow the ball quite quickly, but the reward is she only has 105 left.
She almost skipped the birdie and went straight to an eagle.
Said that she's tilting with her shoulders as opposed to rotating around her spine, which is causing the putter face to come in shut. So,
head to 17.
Yeah, it's a pretty look from behind the hole on this par 3. Lexi Thompson on the tee.
With the flag stick in the shadows, though, really tough on a flat green, see-through green like this to judge the distance from a depth perception wise, but this looks really good.
Yeah, flying it right at the flag. I think Tom Fazio does that with some of the holes. He sort of tricks your eye. Just move to the right slightly. Top 10 finish at Diamond Resorts Tournament of Champions for Lexi. The smaller field there. Going to pop off here on the tee at 17.
Yeah, one more club for Sophia than Lexi hit. That and 8-iron. Also on a good line. Still tough to get it back there.
There's no problem at all. It's quite flat at the back of this green. Yeah, well done. Mistake off the tee. She's let a couple of shots go in the last 4 holes.
and this time of night, really difficult to make out that flag on the green playing downwind.
Yeah, that flag is really deep in the green at 17.
Well, I think they just pitched on the downslope there and it got a nice hop forward. And
this year, he's a terrific player in his own right. 17.
Stacey Lewis for birdie.
From perfectly hole high, Tom.
Yeah.
Great birdie. And one of the strengths of Stacey's game today, she has been hole high. Distance control been great.
Now pop off.
Gap wedge here for Sophia, but from that first cut of rough, unlikely to put enough spin on it to get it close. Didn't stop her from trying.
Didn't hear her snapping.
Pretty darn good.
Birdie putt for Sophia Popoff.
Sliding right the whole way. Quite a bit, actually.
Two really good chances. Hanging Popoff. 17.
Jessica for par.
Well, she didn't make every putt she'd like to make, but she played a bogey-free round of golf.
Not easy to do. Again, this is a golf course most of these players haven't seen, and then a couple of them, of course, call it home. So kind of all or nothing.
Under the hole, pretty straight. Couldn't ask for a better look at it.
You got 72 players at the moment at 2 over par or better. At the 8th, this is a par putt for Patty Tavatanikit. Tied for 4th place at -6.
I know, so cute.
We've said it before, it bears repeating. It's difficult to overstate the pressure that so many players from so many places like that, Korea and Thailand, feel.
Yeah,
Chinese
good putt.
Taipei.
No, you are so right.
You know, when I think about how Jessica played there, I mean, she dominated those par fives. She was crushing her drives. Her approaches were tremendous, and this should be pretty good.
Well, it could have been better, but it's just fine.
It's only about 20 minutes to the airport from here.
Curl in, maybe?
Ooh.
Oh.
Oh, my. Didn't that just happen to her a couple of holes ago?
It's a good question,
Seems
Jessica.
like all day.
Ah,
How's that even possible? She's saving them for the weekend.
It'd be very hard to put a very aggressive putt on it because it looks like it falls away really quickly past the hole. Oh, great speed.
Stacey, a winner last year in Scotland, won a 4-way playoff. Emily Pedersen was in there with Cheyenne Knight and Atha Munoz.
Good putt.